everyone, my name is Ina Khai. I am an interdisciplinary artist from Washington, D.C., born and raised. When I say interdisciplinary, that means I practice a variety of art disciplines, from music to writing to dance and choreography to visuals, including photography and video, to creative directing, to content creation, to storytelling. And in 2019, I became a watercolor artist. In fact, in 2019, I remembered I could draw and began painting for the first time since elementary school. So I'm here to talk to you all about my art, and we're going to start with my piece here, Bad Girl Fifi. So I created my Chakra Gurl Collection in ode to how watercolor became a tool for somatic healing and processing my emotions through therapeutic creativity, using the elements of pigment and water, and how unpredictable it can be at times, and working with that unpredictability, working with the flow of how the paint moves, learning how to control it, and just being still. I connected my process of healing through painting with my study of the chakras. And in that study, I used Black women as my models. I found beautiful pictures online and used them as inspiration, different Black women. So as you can see here, Bad Girl Fifi, she has Bantu knots. The Bantu knots are a common theme in my art collections. Bantu symbolizes not only Black women and how we express ourselves in our hair, but there is a Bantu tribe, Bantu people. Bantu is a culture, it's a people, it's a history. And the way this hairstyle has traveled across waters, across times, across generations, just speaks to the strength of our epigenetics as a people. So you'll see the Bantu knots often. And so also I mentioned the chakras, right? So you don't see that quite often. Heart chakra can also be associated with pink. It represents compassion, unconditional love, gentle healing, peace, tenderness. Now, people often associate the heart chakra with green. Pink is a secondary aura color. Symbolizes a balanced and loving heart. It also carries the feminine energy, gentle, peaceful, comforting. And I just thought that she was so cute, and I just gave her like a bad girl hairstyle. A person with a pink aura can indicate someone with a deep connection to their heart's energy center. I named her Bad Girl Fifi. I wanted her to be a bad bitch. You know, like main character energy. So let's go into some more pieces. That was Bad Girl Fifi here. So next we're going to get into See Her. The pink color can also be linked to aspects of self-love, peace within self. See Her, really, I wanted to consider what we would look like in a meditative state if I were to draw that. This woman here, she's in a meditative state, again with the pink, so the heart chakra is activated here. I just wanted to accentuate the features of the Black woman. Her head covering, oftentimes it's important to cover your head when you're meditating or when you're doing any type of spiritual prayer. It's important to cover your head. That's where your crown is. That's where a lot of information is stored. So that's why her eyes are not colored in. It is to show a meditative state.
pink really is more about inner love, self-acceptance, self-trust, really bridging the gap between forgiveness, being kind to yourself in order to even start to flow any of that compassion or love towards others in the world.
All right, let's see her. Let's go into another piece.
This piece is entitled Olori, meaning queen in Yoruba. This is a portrait that I wanted to radiate power, regalness, and grace. It features a poised Black woman with an elongated neck and a tapered haircut, embodying strength, elegance, natural beauty.
Call attention to the waves. What I learned about the chakras is that we house these energetic vortexes within our body. And so the waves that you see piece symbolizes those energetic waves that we emanate, that resonate within us. Again, calling to the crown chakra with the indigos and the purples. I didn't want her to have hair. I really love
having her enveloped in majestic purple hues. Connects with the crown chakra, a symbol of wisdom and enlightenment. I wanted to celebrate the beauty and royalty inherent in Black culture and within the Black woman.
Oftentimes when women cut their hair, it is a symbolization of a death and rebirth. The hair holds so much memory, so much information, so much energy, and oftentimes completely cutting off your hair sets you on a new timeline almost. I actually had my hair cut for about 4 to 5 years. Super cute, buzz cut, fade, waves, blonde. So she kind of reminded me of me in that era. It's a great era. I love that era. She's amazing. All right, let's go to the next one. All right, now this is what we call, this one is actually a self-portrait, self-entitled Ina Khai. I did this one originally. She was this burnt orange that I just really didn't care for. So with this one, you don't see the waves here. Instead, I use a different technique where I just oversaturated the paper. I did exactly what they tell you don't do with watercolor, which is oversaturate the paper. And I applicated the paint in the way that you would use ink. And I created these waves of color with yellow and orange to call attention to the solar plexus and the sacral chakra. Solar plexus chakra is yellow and the sacral is orange, both of which are very integral to creativity and tapping into the innermost, truest self. Of course, tied to intuition, but a different type of intuition, kind of creative intuition, expression of self intuition.
The sacral chakra is associated with the element of water, and it represents emotions, pleasure, creativity, sensuality. Balancing this chakra fosters emotional expression and healthy relationships. That also can dictate where your boundaries are developed and how they're maintained as well.
To the next one.
This piece is called Nefertiti. Nefertiti is an ancient Egyptian name known to mean beautiful companion, or the most beautiful of them. Queen Nefertiti was one of the most famous and powerful women of ancient Egypt.
This one again was an ode to the crown chakra with the purples. You'll see the Bantu knots have returned here again.
So in this piece, I invite the audience to step into the world of ancient Egyptian royalty through the royal hues of purple and connect with the crown chakra, symbolizing wisdom and spiritual connection.
She's one of my favorites. Purple is actually my favorite color. All right, let's get into the next one. Okay, so next we have the root chakra. Now, the root chakra is red, everything about stability, your base level survival, what you need to survive. So that's like eating, your finances, how you live, your basic necessities, your basic needs, security. That's what the root chakra symbolizes. And
this is unbothered. I wanted this piece to look as unbothered as she was titled. Being unbothered is one of the most self-preserving habits that you can develop as you develop your identity, as you grow in wisdom, as you age. Being unbothered is also a synonym for being grounded.
But I really love just how the layers gather here. Really mix two base layers of color of blues and grays to create the gradients in her skin, to create these shadows. I wanted to symbolize beautiful African American hairstyles, African American hair, their features, and that's her. All right, now we have,
this piece is entitled Anja. Anja is a Sanskrit word. Within the context of the third eye chakra, Anja means authority or command. I thought to place this concept within the root chakra color, because we often consider the chakra system as individual gears, working independently or existing independently. And I found that the chakra system often works in pairs, if not in trios. I found that the root chakra can connect with the concept of Anja and the perception of command, because the root chakra associated with grounding and stability and security does not exist without a governed intuition and insight and spiritual awareness, especially when your stability or sense of security or physical connection is unpredictable.
we always hear people talk about manifestation and being on different timelines. What if all it takes was you meditating yourself into a new life or into a new world? What if it's all literally in the mind? Anyway, back to the root chakra, of course. Okay, now, next. Now, here's a smaller one. Now, I actually did her way before I did the other ones, but she's smaller. Again, this is the sacral chakra all day, every day, orange. Okay, nothing but sacral here. But I just felt like she just gave, attitude. And I love that about her.
This piece is entitled Excuse Me, right? Because oftentimes we have to set our boundaries and make them clear with the people who we engage with, whether they be new or familiar.
Now I'm going to actually switch gears real quick and talk about my pop art collection. So I mentioned before that I am actually a huge fan of pop art, specifically Andy Warhol and how he commercialized popular art. How he used stencils, how he used everyday things, and made art more accessible, reached out and philanthropized for other artists, with the patron of other artists, specifically African American artists. Of course, we know about Basquiat. Whole nother conversation all in itself, but nevertheless. So this is my BMW piece here. So I'm from Washington, D.C., and being from Washington, D.C. proper, like I'm a D.C. native, we have this thing where if you didn't have a car, we would say, BMW to signify best metro and walking as our way of getting around. And so here you'll see each of the lines of the metro represented in the colors. So we have each and every color here that's listed. Some of these lines are historic and some of them are quite new, that extended the reach of the DMV area and how metro accessible it was to the inner city. But yeah, so that's BMW. This is part of my pop art collection. I have another collection. This collection is called my Mushroom Girls. So my Mushroom Girls is about feminizing nature in a way that really celebrates how nature represents the power of the feminine energy in the way that things grow, and because my brand is Black Girl Blunt, of course, made everything black. And so I'm going to show you guys my Mushroom Gurl series. This is one of my favorite ones. And so it started off small. All right, here we go. So this is how they started. They started off this small, literally not even 8 by 11, and I made a couple of them like this. You can see, and each of my Mushroom Girls have a little insect friend with them. Yeah, I started this series as a way to study the female body, the female form. Literally, me saving pictures on Pinterest saying anatomy study, and I wanted to learn how to show movement in my pieces other than just portraits, as a way to challenge myself, and also as a way to really express more of a story, show more attitude in the body, and really learn more about how to paint skin as well, and the depths of black skin and how that can show up in watercolor. So that's really what the Mushroom Girls came from, was me coming from just painting in blue with the portraits, and then going into painting in full color. So they started off here, and then they got here.
So meet Nkira and Azir. This is the Bleeding Fairy Helmet Mushroom and the Blue Poison Dart Frog. So Nkira, the Bleeding Heart Fairy Mushroom, is painted with fuchsia and hot pink. It's a rare fungus that thrives in deep, shaded forests. When it's cut, it oozes a deep red blood-like sap, giving it its magical, mystical name.
So I literally decided one day, go big or go home. This was like my first time going super big. And I did a bunch of these. I'm going to show you guys all of these that I made. And I wanted to not only figure out how to create depth in complexion, show movement in the body, call attention to the different types of mushrooms, because all of these mushrooms, some of them are imagined or imaginary, but for the most part, they all are real mushrooms that you can find in the wild. This is one of my favorite pieces because of the frog, and I really love her. So I also did a few process videos working on these pieces. I'm learning how to create depth in the complexions while I was painting, and also to learn how to paint different complexions. I was using a lot of color theory here. So things that you wouldn't even think about, using pink as my base, using red as my base, using purple and blue and green and yellows as my base before actually layering on the browns, and just really experimenting with color and color theory. And
this is Azir, the blue poison dart frog. Normally, they are found in rainforests of Brazil. These frogs symbolize balance, energy, and calm, intellect, and wisdom. Azir's bold coloration warns predators of its toxicity, speaking to resilience and the importance of embracing our uniqueness. Now, this is Aura and Indigo, the yellow unicorn mushroom, and the blue milkweed beetle. Aura, the yellow unicorn, is rare and intriguing. She's known for her pointed cap resembling a unicorn's horn. She's found in forested areas.
You'll see a lot of complexions in my Mushroom Gurl series. I wanted to celebrate every complexion that I could imagine in my brain, but also complexions that just really appeared as I painted.
She inspires curiosity, symbolizing renewal and exploration. Indigo, the blue milkweed beetle, she stands out with her deep blue exoskeleton. This beetle feeds on toxic milkweed, storing its defenses within, making her unpalatable to predators. A reminder that strength can come from what we consume. Her distinct color represents transformation, resilience, and the ability to adapt. She encourages us to embrace change with confidence.
Now, these pieces here have solid backgrounds, right? However, I do have other versions of my Mushroom Gurls that are smaller, that have little scenic spaces that are really cool. I did make a larger version of that. So I made little small business card versions of this where you had the scene in the background, as well as each Mushroom Gurl having their insect friend, or this has an amphibian friend. She's very bougie. She needed a frog. Okay, period. But yeah, so she has a little plant in the back. You know, plants on plants. But yeah, I was very imaginative in creating scenes and characters. A lot of character play when I was doing these pieces, and I really enjoyed it. It was really fun for me, really imagining what their lives would be like, what their rooms would look like, and yeah, I'll show you guys those miniature versions. But you can find them. I've made most of them into magnets that you can find on my website, www.blackgurl.com. And you can find the little magnets there, but I'll show you guys that later. But yeah, so that's my Mushroom Gurl series. I'll come back with more. And let me know in the comments what you would love to know about my art process. I am working on a new collection. I'm actually working on showing you guys more of my process and my art studio, showing you my art studio and things of that nature. So thanks again for stopping by my little art corner, my little artist talk. I'm going to figure out a name for this because we're going to keep talking about this, like kind of like an art saloon type of vibe. You know, everyone's going to sit and chat, you know, grab you some tea or J, whatever you like, you know what I'm saying? Grab you a little drink, a little cocktail, whatever your vice is, whatever your little imperative may be, you know. We're going to sit and chat about art. We're going to chat about my inspirations, and we're going to have some fun. So check back, and I'm about to go shake my ass to some music. Okay? All right, you have a good one.